Yeah, hi there. In these comments, I'm going to use the initials of your name, K, and you just completed, it looks like, an integrated speaking practice test. So let's take a look at what you have to say. Okay, so if I remember correctly, this is one of my integrated speaking practice tests, I think number 4. So you have reading, speaking, you have academic. This is very, very difficult practice test. And that's the International Atomic Energy Agency. So I think there's something you might mention. You have mostly the main point, I think, of the reading passage. One point in there is it's difficult to monitor what countries are doing with the enriched uranium. Are they using it, to produce nuclear energy? Are they using it to build nuclear weapons? I think that's one idea in there you should probably try to include. And that's exactly what the lecture does. The lecture illustrates one of the risks of nuclear energy, and that's specifically accidents. You said tremendous. I think you want to say a tremendous number of people died. You want to pronounce that word exposure. Exposure. Which are, I think, is better there. Which are far away from Russia. If you use the word where they are far away. If you use the word where, you definitely need to have a subject in that particular dependent clause. So you probably want to say which are, or actually were, because you're talking about something in the past, right? Let me listen to that one more time. Just that last part. Which were far away from Russia, I think, is going to be better there. So, all right, let's take a look at how you did on this one. Let me click on the rubrics to go to the integrated speaking. Yeah, I'm going to say here you had some problems with some of the more complicated vocabulary in there with pronunciation. So I think you had some problems with delivery, some pronunciation problems. Again, you want to speak a little bit faster than what you're doing and work on your intonation a little bit. With language use, you had some minor problems with your grammar, and I think with your topic development, especially in the reading passage, I think that one idea, there's something you could have said in the reading passage which I think was important, but it is the International Atomic Energy Agency is having difficulty determining what countries are doing with the enriched uranium that they're using. So because you didn't really mention that idea there, you could lose some points in the topic development. I think that's a fairly important idea. So on this practice test, and I know it's a difficult practice test, I'm going to put you at 2.66 out of 4, or about 20 points out of 30 on this particular one. All right, anyway, thank you very much for completing the practice test. Keep up the good work.